Every time you tap a card, Visa earns money somewhere you cannot see. It lends no money, yet keeps taking a cut from transactions worldwide. You think it sells credit cards. What it really sells is permission to pass. Banks carry the bad debt. Visa focuses on making the transaction move. That lets it avoid the heaviest risk while keeping the most attractive economics. The real product is not a piece of plastic. It is a global network. Every new user makes the entire network more valuable to everyone else. Every new merchant gives consumers another reason to remain inside the system. This is not merely a brand. It is a toll booth for modern finance. The real question is how long this toll booth can defend its position. A card payment looks simple, but it normally passes through 4 different parties. There is you, the merchant, the issuing bank, and the acquiring bank. Visa sits between them, carrying authorization and clearing messages across the network. It checks whether the card is valid and whether the bank will approve payment. Within seconds, risk checks and transaction routing happen almost simultaneously. Visa generally does not set your interest rate or carry your unpaid balance. The bank provides the credit, and the bank is responsible for collecting it. Visa earns through network access, transaction processing, and international payment services. It hides a complicated financial process behind one effortless tap. The less friction users feel, the more pricing power the infrastructure may possess. This payment empire began not with precision, but with a chaotic experiment. In 1958, Bank of America mailed credit cards to large numbers of customers. Fraud, unpaid balances, and operational chaos nearly overwhelmed the entire program. Yet consumer demand revealed something powerful. People wanted flexible, delayed payment. The deeper problem was not credit itself. It was the absence of common rules. If every bank built a separate network, the cost would become enormous. So competing banks began cooperating around a shared payment standard. This cooperation was not friendship. It was an economic requirement for survival. The system was eventually renamed Visa, giving it an identity designed to travel. A local credit product gradually became a common language for global commerce. Visa reports several revenue categories, but the underlying logic is surprisingly simple. As payment volume increases, Visa's service-related revenue generally rises with it. The more transactions moving through the network, the more processing revenue it can generate. When money crosses borders, the economics can become even more attractive. When international travel recovers, cross-border payment revenue often receives a direct boost. Visa does not need warehouses of inventory or thousands of retail locations. Its central investments are network reliability, security, and continuous technology upgrades. As revenue grows, the underlying cost base does not need to rise at the same rate. That gap creates operating leverage, one of the engines behind Visa's profitability. Visa is not merely monetizing a purchase, it is monetizing a repeated behavior. Visa's strongest defense is a powerful two-sided network effect. Consumers want their preferred card to work at as many merchants as possible. Merchants want to accept the payment method already carried by the most customers. Each side attracts the other, creating a cycle that becomes difficult to reverse. A new competitor must build more than technology. It must rebuild trust from zero. It must persuade banks, merchants, and consumers to join at roughly the same time. If any one side remains too small, the entire network loses its appeal. Visa, by contrast, is already embedded inside global financial infrastructure. As the network expands, its fraud detection data can become more comprehensive. The moat does not merely widen. The network itself can make it deeper. Investors are attracted to Visa partly because the business model is remarkably light. It carries no comparable mountain of loans and has less direct exposure to credit cycles. During a downturn, spending may fall, but consumer defaults mainly belong to issuers. Economically, Visa can resemble a large technology platform more than a traditional bank. yet its service is closer to an everyday necessity than most technology products. Daily shopping, subscriptions, and business payments continuously rely on these rails. When payment volume expands, the network's cash generation potential often expands with it. Relatively controlled capital requirements can leave more cash available for share repurchases. This model combines structural growth and defensive qualities inside the same business. That combination helps explain why the market has often awarded Visa a premium valuation. Merchants around the world are not always enthusiastic about the system. Behind every card payment, a portion of the merchant's sale is removed as fees. Small merchants feel this most because their profit margins may already be thin. Why accept the cost? Because refusing popular cards may be even more expensive. Without mainstream card acceptance, some customers may simply take their business elsewhere. Cash is not free either. It creates handling, security, and reconciliation costs. What Visa ultimately sells merchants is convenience and a higher chance of completing the sale. When payment becomes easier, consumers are often more willing to complete purchases. The fees may hurt, but merchants often treat them as unavoidable commercial rent. That reluctant acceptance is one of the clearest signs of platform power. The strongest economic moats inevitably attract the attention of powerful regulators. Governments examine payment fees, competition, and the bargaining power available to merchants. Some jurisdictions have capped interchange fees, narrowing the economics of card payments. Legal challenges can force network rules to change or push certain fees lower. Another major threat comes from real-time account-to-account bank payment networks. If consumers can pay directly from their accounts, card networks may be bypassed. Digital wallets may look like competitors, but many still rely on card network infrastructure. The greater danger is a payment system that operates entirely outside card rails. Regulation may not destroy payment demand, but it can redistribute the industry's profits. Investors must remember that structural growth does not mean permanent freedom from risk. Visa also understands that traditional card payments alone may not be enough forever. The company is extending its network toward personal transfers and business payments. Visa Direct is designed to move funds rapidly toward consumers and businesses. Cross-border remittances and gig worker payouts create additional transaction flows. Business payments represent a vast market that remains more fragmented than consumer cards. If Visa connects these flows, it can capture value from a much larger financial process. Payment tokenization can also make digital transactions safer and more resilient. A physical card credential can be replaced with a limited digital identity that can reduce fraud while making the surrounding payment platform harder to replace. The Visa of the future may no longer be defined primarily as a card company. Does all of this make Visa a perfect investment? The answer depends not only on business quality, but on the price investors pay. Even an exceptional business can produce weak returns when bought at an excessive valuation. Investors should monitor payment volume, cross-border activity, and regulatory developments. They must also determine whether new payment rails genuinely bypass the card networks. If Visa remains at the center, it can continue earning from expanding payment flows. If the rules change, the market may be forced to reassess its profitability. The central investment question is not whether Visa will suddenly disappear. The question is how much economic toll it can collect over the next decade. Understand that question, and you begin to understand the real Visa business.